Welcome to EMTB videos.
So, Merida has come out with some new models.
Yeah, you might have noticed, since back in February, I believe, there has been a few Meridas with a 750 watt-hours battery. We're going to take a closer look at those bikes. The 775 is the alloy frame bike with quite decent component. The Marzocchi Z1 fork, the Shimano 12-speed SLX XT drivetrain. It's a proper trail bike. Then there's the 575, and that's a decently equipped trail-worthy EMTB. It's got the RockShox 35 RL Gold fork, and what I don't really like about it is the brakes with the long lever, but okay, they do work. We haven't got the price of all these bikes, but we have got the price of the 575 in the Norwegian kroners. We haven't been able to find the price for other markets, so we'll just stick with the Norwegian price. The 575 is 59,999 kroners. And compared to the 500 model, that's the sort of older bike with the 630 watt-hours battery, the new one is 5,000 kroners more. So we're looking at a price increase of a little under 10% for that model. If I were to guess, we are looking at perhaps 500 euros price increase in other markets. There are 3 models with a 750 watt-hours battery in the E140 series. In Norway, we will only get the E140 EQ, the sort of SUV commuter trail bike with the fenders and bike rack and semi-decent equipment. It's got a pretty basic Suntour fork and a Suntour shock. This bike is 65,000 Norwegian kroners. And the similar bike with the 630 watt-hours battery is 60,000 Norwegian kroners. So yet again, 5,000 Norwegian kroners price increase, and yeah, perhaps 500 euros-ish. Then there's the E140 775, a nice spec bike, and the E140 575. I haven't got the prices of these, but we can assume 500 euros up from today's price. And finally, it's the Merida E-Big Tour 675, which is not an EMTB, so I've got nothing to say about that one. Do you?
So, they fitted a 750 watts battery instead of a 625. Have they made any changes to the frame at all?
According to Merida, no. No.
Then how can it fit?
Yeah. We took a closer look at the battery. It's a Simplo battery, and it's got 60 battery cells. And the 630 watt-hours Shimano battery is 50 battery cells. So there are 10 more battery cells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do they go?
They go in the existing battery compartment.
So was there a lot of space in the old one?
Not really, because they were struggling to fit the 630 watt-hours battery in the bike. Actually, the smallest frame size, the size small in the E140 and the size extra small in the E160, it won't fit the 630 watt-hours battery, and it won't fit the Simplo 750 watt-hours battery. So they were struggling a bit to fit the old 630 battery. So it was a bit surprising that they were able to fit a 750 watt-hours battery without altering the frame.
Okay, so they're running 60 cells. I would think that they would do something with the energy density of the 50 existing cells that were there.
Yeah, that was my first thought really, because 50 cells, we know there are room for 50 cells. So by increasing energy density, they would get a bigger battery. But there are no progress in energy density as of yet.
We're hoping each year that there will be a huge leap. But
yeah, the last big leap was in 2015 for 2016, and there hasn't really happened much since. So we are waiting quite impatiently.
Still.
But no, the energy density is the same. So the only way to make this battery is by adding 10 more cells. And that does increase weight, of course. It increases by 500 grams because that each cell is 50 grams. and the casing might be bigger, but in this case, the casing isn't bigger. It's the same length, so it will fit the old frame. It's slightly wider, but it's not much. It's very marginally wider. So the old frame has a bit of space on the sides to accommodate a slightly wider battery. And that makes me think back in 2018, 2019, when they were working on the 2020 E160 model, they were designing the frame to fit this bigger 750 watt-hours battery, like 3 years ago. But the interesting thing is the length is the same. So how is that possible? The only explanation I can offer is how you pack the battery cells. And that must mean that Shimano and Bosch, they are companies that make a lot of stuff, and their core competence is not battery. So they might have been a bit conservative and just designing sort of a safe battery pack that they are comfortable with, but the battery specialists, the third parties, like Simplo, they have got much more experience, in-depth knowledge about batteries. So my guess is that they are designing a more compactly packed battery. There are less
overhead,
less dead space. The dead space could be important for controlling the temperature of the battery cells. Simplo might decide that that's not necessary. We know what we're doing. This is fine. And packing things a bit tighter. And that's a huge advantage with the third-party battery manufacturers. And I really like that Shimano is going that route, allowing third-party manufacturers to produce batteries for their e-bike motor systems.
Yeah, because earlier they have been really strict about which batteries you can put in there while not voiding the warranty, haven't they?
Yeah, some of them. Bosch comes to mind. They really don't want anyone else to interfere with their system. And, well, it sort of makes sense. You can't expect them to stand by their warranty if you buy some random battery connected to your e-bike and get into trouble. But Shimano has a different take on this. While Bosch is sort of actively trying to push third-party manufacturers away, they claim, no, you can't use any other battery, you will lose your warranty. They're trying to scare people away, basically, from going the third-party route. But Shimano has had a different approach since forever. I mean, you have Focus. They've been running third-party, possibly Darphone, I'm not sure, batteries in the Focus Jam 2 since it was introduced. And while it's been a bit troublesome for the end user to get battery parts, I mean, they bought the bike, they go to a Shimano service center, they get help with the Shimano motor, no issues, but the battery is not from Shimano and they don't service it. So it's more difficult getting components for that battery. But that has changed now. Shimano released a press release like 2 months ago stating that they've entered into collaboration with a few third-party manufacturers, Trend Power and Darphone, and they will service. Their service centers will handle the service on bikes and batteries. And that's really cool. I really like that approach.
Yeah, that's a step forward, for sure.
And we're sort of seeing the fruits of this approach now with the bigger batteries that will fit in the existing battery compartment, I think. No one is confirming this. I haven't talked to anyone in the industry that has told me this is what's happening, but based on what I know, this is my only explanation for for how Merida is able to launch the 750 watt-hours battery without altering the frame.
Merida did a survey amongst their customer, which shows that a lot of them wanted a bigger battery as possible. But the 750 watt battery is just available in the aluminium models, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right. We asked Merida about this, and they told us about this survey, and that the customers, some customers was pretty much only interested in range, but as the customer of the more expensive bikes, they had other concerns as well, like bike handling. So they were willing to accept some compromise between range and bike handling. So Merida decided that all the carbon frames, all the more expensive bikes, they don't need this bigger battery.
Which would add weight.
Yeah, and and that bike handling would suffer, presumably.
How about retrofitting this 750 watt battery in the older models?
Yeah, I talked to Merida about this, and yeah, my interpretation is that will be possible. You will need a new battery, of course, the new battery. You will need the battery fixing hardware. You will need a new power button. You will need a new cable from the battery to the motor, and a few other components, such as the frame is not changed, but the battery cover, frame cover that goes along the down tube will have to be changed. So I guess the old cover was getting in the way of the battery, so there's a new cover. And you will need a new charger, you will need a new adapter for charging through the Shimano plug in the frame, and removing the adapter to charge the battery when out of the bike. So it is possible. And I asked, so will this be available as a kit? And he said, not for 2022. So yeah, it opens the possibility for doing some interpretation here, but the only interpretation I would like to offer is it probably won't be available for 2021 either. And it didn't say anything about the aluminium versus carbon, but being that the frames are similar, I would assume it would be possible to retrofit the battery in the carbon frame too, not just the aluminium, but that's just my guess.
And this is for the 2021 frame model?
Only, yeah. The 2020 Merida with the 500 watt-hours battery has too small of an opening. So you need the bike with the 630 watt-hour battery opening to fit the new battery. So no luck for the 2020 bikes.
Which is what you have.
But it's very lightweight.
It's very lightweight.
That's it. Appreciate any likes and subscribes. Thanks for watching.